Each week, I ask for your suggestions for new recipes to try. Well, this next one came from within our 10 TV newsroom, and to say I was hesitant to give it a try, well, that's an understatement. Today, I would say we're doing more of a food experiment than a food recipe. Okay, it's still a recipe. It's actually a Depression era recipe, and I got this idea, gotta give him a shout out, from our editor, Jeff Cordell. We affectionately know him as Chops in the newsroom, and he called me over and he said, I know you like to make vegetarian things, and he was watching some sort of history or educational show about Depression era recipes. He said, give this a shot. I didn't know what to say when I heard it. I didn't think it was a real recipe. I kind of thought he was joking with me. I looked it up. It is a real thing. I know I'm going to lose you here. Here's what it is. Peanut butter stuffed onions. I know. Probably many of you are turning the channel right now. Don't. Let's give it a try, because I did a little research and I've heard it's actually way better than it sounds. And the reason this was so popular back then, obviously many things were scarce, but even sort of the poorest of the poor back then who were really struggling could get access to onions and peanut butter and stale bread. In this case, I'm using breadcrumbs just because I don't have any bread to toast up and sort of go through that process. So did a little shortcut here, but I have 3 onions. They're just plain yellow sweet onions, and I just hollowed them out. Really easy to do with a spoon, way easier than I thought. I did a little slice at the bottom just so they would sit nicely, and have 3 of them right here. I love onions, so they already smell good. I love the smell of onions. So I have some peanut butter and I have some breadcrumbs. According to a recipe I found online, you should about 3 cups of the bread. And again, usually you'll just take old bread and sort of crumble it up. So I feel like that's gonna be a lot for this. So I think I'm gonna start with 2 cups and go from there. Because you wanna have sort of a, crumbly texture, I understand, like almost like a paste when you put it in there. That's a lot of breadcrumbs. You know what? I'm even gonna backtrack from that. It's, again, it's an experiment. We're gonna see as we go. Because it only calls for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter in this. So let's see. This is like the perfect amount because I'm about out of peanut butter here. All right, I imagine this is going to be not easy to get combined. So I'm gonna mix this all up, and then we just stuff it in the onions and we'll be ready to go. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, I decided to switch over to my hands, kitchen's best tools, right? And it works so much better. It actually feels a little bit like wet sand, and I think that's the way it's supposed to go. Very packable. I mean, it smells great. It smells just like peanut butter. Now comes the part that might be a little strange. I might do this with a spoon, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash the hands. Okay, I'm back with a spoon here. I just thought that looked easier stuffing these. And I hear you should stuff it all the way to the brim, which I'll do. All right, so I think that's how one is going to look. I'm gonna do it with the other 2 here. I wanna really get it in there. And then pop it in the oven, again, 350 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour until it gets soft. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. We have the peanut butter stuffed onions out of the oven, cooling just a bit. On the surface, they look great. It just looks like you've made a stuffed onion with some breading on top. When you realize it's stuffed with peanut butter, I know. So I typically don't go ahead and try my meals when I make them, but I feel like in this case, before I recommend it to you, I need to. So I'm gonna take one of these. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to eat one of these, but I guess I'll just slice into it and see what it tastes like. What do we think? Let's see how what it looks like inside. Yeah, it's definitely soft and cooked, that's for sure. And look, it made a perfect little cone shape of where the peanut butter and onion is. That's so funny. Ooh, I mean, it smells interesting. I will say that. I feel like I can't cheat. I've got to get a bite of the onion and I've got to get a bite of the peanut butter. So, okay. I've got peanut butter and onion and some breadcrumbs. Let's give it a go. You know what? It's not terrible. I promise you it's not. I read online other people saying the same thing. It really just makes it a savory peanut butter taste, if that makes sense, because, the onion really sweetens up and sort of dulls down the sharpness of a raw onion in the oven. And you've got a little crunch because the breadcrumbs actually stay kind of crispy. It's not bad. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna make it as a meal all the time, but if someone served it on the side, maybe you split it up among your family as a little side dish, not bad at all. Okay, here we go. Peanut butter stuffed onion. Who knew? Cheers. Yeah, who knew is right. By the way, a viewer tried out one of my other recipes and was kind enough to share this photo. You know, I ask for them each week. Thank you so much for sending them. The chef from this photo says this is actually from January when this recipe first aired, and she finally got around to sending the photos. We appreciate that. And we're told it was delicious. This is the Southwestern Veggie Chili, by the way. And you can find that recipe online, 10tv.com/brittanys-bites. So I love that. If you have either a recipe to share like those peanut butter stuffed onions or a picture like that chili, or maybe an idea for a future segment, you can text us at 614-460-3345 or find me on social media. I think